in this world in slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, that those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can. Surely this bond of common faith, this bond of common goal, can begin to teach us something. Surely we can learn, at least, to look at those around us as fellow men. And surely we can begin to work a little harder to bind up the wounds among us and to become in our own hearts brothers and countrymen once again. The answer is to rely on youth, not a time of life but a state of mind, a temper of the will, a quality of imagination, a predominance of courage over timidity, of the appetite for adventure over the love of ease. The cruelties and obstacles of this swiftly changing planet will not yield to the obsolete dogmas and outworn slogans. They cannot be moved by those who cling to a present that is already dying, who prefer the illusion of security to the excitement and danger that come with even the most peaceful progress. It is a revolutionary world we live in, and this generation at home and around the world has had thrust upon it a greater burden of responsibility than any generation that has ever lived. Some believe there is nothing one man or one woman can do against the enormous array of the world's ills. Yet many of the world's great movements of thought and action have flowed from the work of a single man. A young monk began the Protestant Reformation. A young general extended an empire from Macedonia to the borders of the earth. A young woman reclaimed the territory of France. And it was a young Italian explorer who discovered the New World. And the 32-year-old Thomas Jefferson who proclaimed that all men are created equal. These men move the world, and so can we all. Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events. And in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Few are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is a rarer commodity than bravery in battle or great intelligence. Yet it is the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change a world that yields most painfully to change. And I believe that in this generation, those with the courage to enter the moral conflict will find themselves with companions in every corner of the globe. For the fortunate among us, there is the temptation to follow the easy and familiar paths of personal ambition and financial success, so grandly spread before those who enjoy the privilege of education. But that is not the road history has marked out for us. Like it or not, we live in times of danger and uncertainty, but they are also more open to the creative energy we have contributed to building a new world society and the extent to which our ideals and goals have shaped that event. Our future may lie beyond our vision, but it is not completely beyond our control. It is the shaping impulse of America that neither fate nor nature, nor the irresistible tides of history, but the work of our own hands, matched to reason and principle, that will determine our destiny. There is pride in that, even arrogance, but there is also experience and truth. In any event, it is the only way we can live. That is the way he lived. That is what he leaves us. My brother need not be idealized or enlarged in death beyond what he was in life. To be remembered simply as a good and decent man who saw wrong and tried to right it, saw suffering and tried to heal it, saw war and tried to stop it. Those of us who loved him and who take him to his rest today pray that what he was to us, what he wished for others, will someday come to pass for all the world. As he said many times in many parts of this nation, to those he touched and who sought to touch him. Some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not?
Well, welcome back, everybody. It seems that, there he is. Thought we were gonna not have Tyler for another week. He was here 2 seconds ago, and then he's gone. You know, I think you're still muted.
I'm still muted. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That speech that I played before was Bobby Kennedy's speech at JFK's funeral. That it was, I don't know, it was inspirational a little bit. Wanted to bestow some good speech on people. I don't know. So how you feeling? Glad to be back or what?
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long month.
Yeah, it seems like it's only gonna get longer for you.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
We got a Mossad agent on our hands. Has to do the workings in Iran. That's why he hasn't been on the past couple of weeks.
I'm a Fed. Oh.
So, I don't know. I'm sure you haven't really been keeping up with what's been going on that much, right?
No, I have not.
Been
I got
occupied.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy, but no, I got the gist of some things.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually gonna be one of the first residents of Greenland once we acquire it.
Oh, cool! You're gonna purchase some real estate, are you?
Yeah, well, I already got a bid in on it.
That's nice.
So.
I sound quiet, huh? Okay. So Greenland. I guess the biggest news of the past week is that there was the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, Switzerland, and Trump attended it and gave this big long speech about how he needed Greenland. He also poked fun at Canada, talked a little bit about how good the U.S. is doing. Do you want to? I think we should watch a little bit of it just to kind of, I don't know, do a semi-live reaction. I watched like 5 minutes of it.
Do you want to?
And I was like,
Okay, you want to start with that?
yeah, we can start with that. Do a little
All right.
bit. If anybody
Sure.
else here hasn't actually seen any of it either, I don't know if you really missed out, but it sounds so negative. It's like anything. I think I'm just sick of it. You know, I'm just like sick of the speeches, sick of the nonsense. Like this, and this, which I know are verifiably not true. You're telling me that I'm doing well, but let's see if.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh, and we have the CEO of BlackRock introducing President Trump. Hold on. This will be real.
That lines up.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Larry
we
Fink
don't have
here.
enough seats today. Wow. In the last quarter century, a sitting president of the United States has come to Davos only twice. Both times it was Donald Trump. So when I asked to serve in this new role that I have, he was one of the first leaders I called and invited to return.
This speech is an hour and a half, by the way, so we don't have to watch the whole thing. I could skip ahead. I think that's what I should do.
Foreign adversaries and much, much smaller militaries. The United States cares greatly about the people of Europe. We really do. I mean, look, I am derived from Europe. Scotland
Posture
and
check.
Germany. 100% Scotland, my mother. 100% German, my father. And we believe deeply in the bonds we share with Europe as a civilization. I want to see it do great. That's why issues like energy, trade, immigration, and economic growth must be central concerns to anyone who wants to see a strong and united West. Because Europe and those countries have to do their thing. They have to get out of the culture that they've created over the last 10 years. It's horrible what they're doing to themselves. They're destroying themselves. It's beautiful, beautiful places. We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong.
I do agree with that. I think we've seen the mass migration into basically all the countries of Europe. I guess not Austria. Austria's paying immense fines to restrict their immigration. I think Poland is as well. Those countries are just completely different, even than they were 10 years ago. But he's right about that.
Yeah.
What good is a weak Europe?
Weak. Yeah.
It's like
Weak ally in general.
This is like I was talking to you before the stream about NATO and how I thought Trump would be the president to get us out of NATO. And because we pay I say like mostly all of NATO. It's more than 90% of the funding of NATO. Without the United States, I mean, there's absolutely no chance for Ukraine, I would say.
Yeah, look at Ukraine and Israel. We just saw it.
Yeah. Maybe without NATO, though, Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine. Although that's kind of speculation on my behalf. I'm just a NATO hater for life. I don't think NATO is good for the United States-Russia alliance. I don't think it was a long-term good thing for the entire for Europe and the United States to kind of box Russia out at the fall of the Soviet Union and never really make amends with them, because then you just start creating this sleeping monster who just creating resentment, and NATO continues to add countries further and further east, and Russia's just kind of like, well, like, you guys never wanted to be our allies, so
ultimately these are matters of national security, and perhaps
I think he's going to talk about Greenland here.
Makes the
that's really what I wanted to get to.
More clear than what's currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland?
Who's he asking?
I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. but every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did, at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland.
That's funny.
And successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now
I think this argument is always kind of stupid, right? It's like the biggest neocon argument ever. It's like, oh, well, you could be speaking German. You know, it's like, okay, well, we have trans men going in women's bathrooms. We have pedophiles running our government. Honestly, could it really be that bad?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a common trope that you hear. Like, oh, you could be speaking German, as if the entire world right now and the country that we live in is not completely different than it was after World War II, you know? I think that's
I agree. That's terrible.
our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess.
I was reading reports that the United States used some like special sonic weapon that was making the Venezuelan security forces bleed from their eyes and their ears. Did you read anything about that? It was like...
No, like I said, I've been kind of sheltered, but yeah, that's crazy.
It's like I don't know, the ratio of Venezuelan soldiers to Americans was pretty large, and there were interviews on the ground in Venezuela after they captured the president, and they were saying that like they've never experienced something like that before. There's like extremely loud sound, and then they're like bleeding and concussed.
Do you think that's somewhat unethical, like mustard gas?
I mean, if it was chemical warfare, then yeah, but if it's like...
Yeah, what if there's like lasting effects? I mean, maybe not,
No,
but...
I mean, yeah. What do you consider an act of war? Like, it is an act of... I think it's an act of war to steal someone else's president.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think I said this last time we were on. I don't know if you could do that in any other country and it not break out into
Like,
something
if
major.
someone came and captured Trump, you know, like, what would happen?
Yeah.
I'm curious if he's going to say anything more about Greenland in the sense of, like, he's kind of rambling right now, but I want him to say, like, what he's proposing.
Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory that's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth. No such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice.
Talking about
That's not the reason we need it. We need it
well,
for
yeah, but
strategic national security and international
trying
security.
to hit a word
This
count.
enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory.
So do you think it's a good thing
It is
to
therefore a corner.
set up military forces in Greenland? Like I don't I think I can see the benefit of it for sure.
We've had agreements in the past, like what he's talking about. We have bases in Greenland that are no longer active.
Yeah.
We had during the Cold War. It's like we still have. I'm pretty sure we still have an agreement with Denmark. Like if we wanted to set up military bases there, we could. It's, which I don't really. I guess the argument would be, why are you gonna send all this military power to a country that's not yours? You know.
Yeah, but we have military bases all over the world.
Exactly. That's my thing. I think they're, like he's saying, it's not really about the minerals, but I think it also is about the minerals. Like you want monetary gain from somewhere that you're spending money.
Yeah, and Venezuela wasn't about the oil.
Yeah. So.
National security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. You know, for 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses.
Someone said it's not a war crime if you're the first to do it.
They spent less
I
than
think they're
1%
referring to
of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there.
Maduro.
And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose
Anytime
leaders are very good.
Like anytime that the U.S. does something that they wouldn't consider a war crime, I think you just have to look at it in the sense of, if someone else did that to us, what would the reaction be?
Yeah.
Like we would be probably dropping a nuke on Venezuela if they somehow were able to capture the president.
It's the United States alone that can protect.
The U.S. government is never going to admit themselves that they're violating international law or committing a war crime, you know? Not necessarily a war crime, but like, I guess in this case,
An
act of war. Yeah. I wouldn't consider it a war crime. It's like an act of war against another nation. Anytime that, like, the U.S. would never admit that they committed an act of war. Like, strategic strike is what they would consider what they did in Iran the first time. Like, okay, but if you're Iran and you're getting bombs dropped on you by the United States and Israel, like, you'd probably consider that an act of war. And I think, like, then that begs the question of what actually is war. It's like, oh, well, it only lasted 12 days, you know, the 12-day war. It's like, well, you're still putting war in the title. And it's not over. That one's not over. Still waiting to see what's going to happen.
This giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice.
Get to the point.
It
Stop rambling.
it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired, there's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great vast lands all over the world. They went in reverse. They're stuck back where they started. That happens too. But some grow. But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any
Yeah,
other
I mean, I
person.
guess if you know that,
You
why
wouldn't have
why
NATO
keep
if I
giving?
didn't get involved in my first term.
It's like one of
The
those
war with
moments where he probably shouldn't be bragging about it, but he is because he just has to. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I've been the biggest critic, but I've also helped them the most, like given them the most money. It's like, okay, real nice.
He's criticizing his own decisions at this point.
Yeah, I guess that was mainly the part I wanted to watch. What he said about Greenland, because I saw something that there's a deal on the table for the United States to control a small portion of the country, establish more bases, and gain some mineral rights. I don't know. I don't know if that's this mineral rights thing. It's always something they just say. Like do you remember the talk of ending the war in Ukraine? It was about the United States is going to get mineral rights. Like that was the deal. Nothing happened. Like, that just completely fell through. It's just you're just saying things, I think. I want to find that story, but do you want to keep watching this?
I mean, we can come back to it, or you want to watch? Is there
Let's watch
anything
a
else?
little bit
Like I
more.
said, I didn't listen to this, so
I don't. There's an hour left. I don't know what
Yeah.
else you could be talking about.
Ukraine is an example.
no, we can move on.
We are
But
thousands of miles away, separated by
Just want to see what else
a
he's gonna say
giant
here.
ocean. It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election.
Oh
Everybody
my
now knows
goodness.
that. They found
Bro
out.
never gives it up.
People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
Okay. I did watch up to this part, or I think I skipped around because I remember him saying this. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. You've been saying that for how many years? Like, when do you does anybody think that he's actually going to prosecute people? That his Department of Justice or his Attorney General is going to be prosecuting these people? They're not even
Yeah, just like-
prosecuting anybody in the Epstein files. They're not
I was just
prosecuting
gonna bring
anybody
that
in
up,
the deep
yeah.
state. Russia collusion stuff, that's what you really need. Those are the people that you need to be prosecuting. Those are clear violations of the law. I think the quote rigged election stuff is going to be a lot harder to prove. Like, who are you going to arrest? You know?
yeah, and I guess how is that more important than the Epstein stuff?
Yeah, I mean the Epstein stuff is in the past too, but it's uncovering like the larger scheme, the cabal that could still be
No.
operating.
No, but here's the thing though. The 2020 election happened and has since passed in the sense that is completely over. I would guess the majority of the Epstein list is full of people who are still alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like maybe not Stephen Hawking, but there's still so many people to be prosecuted.
I don't know, don't count Stephen Hawking out. I think you'd probably be surprised at who's on there. I think we both would.
No, I'm saying he's on there, but
Oh,
he's
okay.
no
Yeah, I
longer
would agree
with us.
there. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just talk. Like, and then like, what would you say? Like the MAGA Republicans are eating the slop up. They're like, oh, he's fine. He's talking bad about. There was another clip in there which I don't exactly know where it is, but he's talking about Canada and the Canada situation with China. And he's saying, like, the only reason that Canada exists is because of the United States is there to protect them. And the MAGA Republicans are eating the slop up, saying, "Oh, finally, he's dunking on Canada." It's like, is that all you care about? Like, Canada's going to partner with China because we can't settle down and go to the table with them and make a good trade deal. Like, they're gonna go create an economic partnership with our greatest adversary, you know? It's like, instead we just care about dunking on Canada and Europe and calling them weak and stupid. Like, that doesn't really accomplish anything. Yeah, it sounds cool. And it's like, it's true, the sentiment is true. Like, yeah,
Yeah, but what does it gain?
Yeah. It, okay. Canada, obviously, you lose the possibility of a good trading relationship because they're just going to go to China as they did. It's like, at what point do you just have to shut up and actually do something? Stop just talking. Like, nothing is happening. And there was I think, when was it? It was Tuesday morning that the market had a huge drop. It was like a 5% drop in the market. I think it was like $5 trillion was liquidated from the stock market because Trump had proposed putting, what is it, like 15% tariffs on the EU he proposed that idea until they allowed him to buy Greenland or take Greenland. So the stock market dropped. And then he retracted that idea and said, no, actually, we're not going to do that in light of like a new proposal regarding Greenland. And then the market went right back up. And I saw something. So the White House has their own private portfolio and the biggest corporations in the U.S. They're just like stacking money. It's like he could just manipulate the markets with what he says.
Yeah, hence
he'll create a.
What was it? The CEO of Vanguard introducing him?
BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah.
So he can just manipulate the markets by threatening to place tariffs on these other countries, drop the market 5%, invest in the White House's portfolio, or the White House invests their portfolio, and then there's a huge surge. It's kind of funny. Like it's
those
stupid,
are some Pelosi trades right there.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi stock tracker is unmatched. But the whole Greenland conversation leads into the Danes selling $100 million worth of U.S. treasuries. And I think that's kind of just like a drop in the bucket. Europe holds $2 trillion worth of U.S. treasuries.
Yeah, but it's still a testament to the lack of faith in our economy.
Yeah, and it's like they're saying like, okay, you're gonna kind of be an a-hole to us. Like, we're gonna sell some of the bonds that are basically guaranteed money. But it's like if the economy really does crash, it's not really worthless. But something to look into is that bond returns or bond yields are at an all-time high. So they're at like 4.8%. And that's not necessarily good for all that we're hearing from the president about we're in such a good economy. The economy's never been better. The stock market's never been higher, which is all true. But the bond yields going up is a sign of people choosing bonds as the safer investment than the stock market because the volatility and the AI bubble and people not actually believing that these stocks are going to stay where they are. Something's got to fall at some point. Whether that's us getting into another war, I mean, this is something I wanted to talk about is the explosion of the price of commodities, gold and silver. And in the past few months, gold has gone up over 100%. It was at like $40 in October, and now it's at almost 100. It was at like 97. I've been watching it because I just bought some earlier this month. It's already gone up like $20 since I bought it. And gold almost reached 5K today. And that in the past year and a half, what was it? It's gone up. It's like doubled in the past year and a half. I think it was $2,400 in the summer of 2024. I want to look this up because
pull it up.
Yeah, let's pull it up. I've been grinding these silver prices. Guess I'm just a silver bug now. It's like 97.51. I think that's the highest. Yeah. So let's look at the 1 year of silver. So where are we? Yeah, October was like 48. If you in the 30s this summer. 97.63 now. Now, what is this a sign of? Let's look at gold. Gold is 49.70. Let's look at the 1 year. Like, this is insane. Yeah. So a year ago today, it was 2,600 an ounce. It's almost doubled. What is this a sign of?
I mean, like I said, it's just a lack of faith in the U.S. dollar.
Yeah. It's like people really do realize how devalued the dollar is. And I don't think, like, gold doesn't perfectly represent the dollar in the sense that, like, the dollar hasn't lost half of its value since last year. It's more of just the amount of people that are now saying, okay, well, I don't really trust the dollar, is increasing the demand on gold, which is driving the price up. So they're putting their faith in gold to keep its value more than the dollar. Because if the dollar crashes, you have nothing. And in terms of silver, so China is restricting its export markets. It's not telling other countries the amount of silver that it has in its stockpile, but it's trying to bring in as much silver as they possibly can. Now, it seems like they're obviously preparing for something. But Shanghai spot prices for silver are like $5 an ounce higher than what they are in the US. I mean, it's the silver price that we're seeing here is like the future price, is the paper silver price. So it's not exactly indicative of what the actual price per ounce is of real physical silver. But man, if you're not in silver now or in gold now, like I was telling you, the best time to get in was years ago or a year ago from today even. But the second best time to get in is now.
Do you think? Yeah, I was gonna say. Do you think you'll be saying that in a year from now?
The best thing that I think that you can do with silver, from everything that I've watched, everything that I read, is like no matter the price, just keep consistently buying it. You know,
Because it's kind of guaranteed to go up.
Think of it like this though: if the U.S.
Have we ever had a
what?
Can you look farther than a year? Have we ever had a significant drop in the price of gold and silver?
Yeah. So in the all-time silver chart, silver went up to 47. Oh wait, this isn't accurate. It doesn't show the 70s. I need to find an all-time silver chart. So I believe in the 70s there was a silver high. No, this isn't going to show it. $1980 peak of $50. And I believe there was a reason for that. It was like manipulation of the price of silver. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. I just whacked my microphone. So, Texas billionaires Nelson Bunker and William Herbert Hunt's attempt to corner the silver market, driving prices from $6 to nearly $50 an ounce. But a regulatory crackdown and massive margin calls led to their default, triggering a silver crash. So these guys basically just bought huge amounts of silver, which squeezed the price up. It wasn't like what we're seeing now.
How much? Yeah, I was gonna say, how much would you have had to buy at the time for the price to go up that much?
A good amount, but compared to what you have to buy now.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just it's insane. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is insane. And it's not. I guess in this scenario, there are definite reasons as to why the price of silver is going up. What's going on with China? Yeah. What's going on with the dollar? With the foreign policy of the United States? Like, say the United States struck Iran tomorrow, the price of silver would easily crack 100. And gold would hit 5K easily. Because people are like, oh, we're going to another war, or we're going to war again. Our dollar's going to be worth even less. And I think the mindset to have with silver is like the long-term holding aspect and buying silver that you could barter with in the future.
Click on the US dollar checkbox. I want to see what that pulls up.
It's like So this is representing it as like. I don't
Does
know.
that show inflation?
It's like the U.S. dollar valued at $100. Well, this is only.
Oh, is that relative? Is that relative? So basically, what's saying is when those lines meet, is what the price of silver should be, based on the U.S. dollar. And right now, the price of silver is way
I don't
greater
think so.
than the relative value of the U.S. dollar.
Think of it like this: the current price ratio between gold and silver is about like a little bit over 50 to 1, so like 50 ounces of silver to an ounce of gold. But
Okay.
the mining ratio of silver to gold is 8 to 1. So like the amount of silver that's mined is 8 times as much as the amount of gold that's mined. So a lot of people think there's a huge price disparity in the price of silver versus the price of gold. Like you're mining it 8 times as fast. You're not
It
mining
should be.
You're not mining it 50 times as fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a huge period of time where silver kind of just stayed constant, you know? But it's at some point, and like, yeah, I think there are going to be people, it's happening now, people who have large amounts of silver, they're like, okay, now's my time to get out, you know? But I think this
Yeah,
is a
because it's
sign
at
of
an all-time high. But
this is a sign of something bigger. This is a sign of people are
you think
buying
it'll keep going up?
people are going to be buying silver to hold it and use it when the economy actually crashes. Because if you have, I don't know, in an economy where the dollar, we have hyperinflation, which is probably not too far in the future, and you need to buy something and you have valuable silver coins, like that's going to be a lot worth more than any piece of paper would.
Sure.
But yeah,
Yeah,
there's
because
you got to get in at
the
some
physical
point.
quantity of it doesn't change.
Nope.
Just the
And
weight doesn't change.
yep. I mean, they like U.S. currency. The pre 1965 dimes, pre 1964 dimes are 90% silver, half dollars, 90% silver before that date.
Well, that's why we stopped minting the penny, right? Because it was more expensive to mint than it was to
Yeah, yeah. And
than it was
they
actually
were
worth.
using zinc too. I mean, they're if you could find the
Well, they used to be
if you could
copper.
yeah, and if you could find the copper pennies, if you could find I think it's pre 1982 pennies, they're gonna be worth more in their weight in copper than face value. It's like I'm curious. Like if I went to the bank, gave them $100, and was like, give me $100 worth of dimes, like would I be able like one 90% silver dime is worth like $7 in weight.
I'm pretty sure there's people out there that do that.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's just like converting your money. Or you could do half dollars too. Because a half dollar, if you find a silver half dollar, that's going to be worth like $70.
I have one.
A silver half dollar?
Yeah.
That's sweet. But yeah, I'm just going to if anybody's curious about it, definitely read more into it. It's like I've been interested in buying physical silver for a long time. I didn't pull the trigger early enough. But like what is early enough?
I mean, it's like a stock. There's no way to tell.
Yeah,
Well,
there is no way to tell.
I guess it's maybe a little more predictable, like you said, if we were suddenly to enter a war. But I guess you can kind of predict stocks with that too.
Diversifying your assets. I'm also going to start investing in mining stocks as well. Because if we like, what if we end up going and mining in Greenland? That's going to explode. Like the need these AI facilities. We need all these rare earths, all these precious metals.
What Luke is saying is he's big into miners.
Oh man. Yo, you know what's crazy to me? Have you seen the clip of Nick Fuentes saying that Jeffrey Epstein isn't a pedophile?
No.
Dude.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Can we pull it up? Is that even like
I don't know. I'll have to look.
someone said facts.
been seeing so many clips of that. I'm like, dude, that is a terrible take.
Yeah, that
by
is an
all
awful
respects.
take. Is it just his like rage bait tendency, or
It might be.
did he
but,
genuinely
like,
mean that?
I don't know, dude. He's. I mean, these are everything I'm seeing is like a reaction. This is
like he was probably.
Hold on. Here's one clip of. Let's see what this clown has to say.
The coldest, coolest guy you know.
I don't know if he's
You're
gonna
telling
swear,
me the
so
coolest guy you know
beware.
who knows everybody says, hey, we're going to go on my private jet to my private island. We got hot girls. He doesn't tell you how old they
Yeah, hot. This
are. How fucking lame would you be? Are they 18? Like, who's going to be the nerd that asks that? You probably would
Me?
just assume they are.
Yeah, like what?
No, I would not assume that.
What are you
That is
saying?
crazy.
Like, this is an insane take. I want to see what else this clown says.
Or
What are
that
your
it's
thoughts
in
on Nick
international
dropping
waters,
that
so it
quarter
doesn't
zip to
matter,
Epstein
you know,
War?
but like,
I didn't know about that.
you're telling me you would automatically say, no. Like, you don't know what's going on. All everybody knew is that he was the coolest guy in town. The coolest guy in town.
Terrible
to say,
take.
Yeah, that's not the clip of him saying that Epstein wasn't a pedophile, but
Wait, so he dropped a quarter zip that Epstein wore? Is that like a merch
I'm
line
gonna
or
look it up.
something?
Yeah, I did see this. I didn't actually look at it, but oh my god. Yeah. Dude. He got the call. Like, what is this? It's actually kind of nice, like, if it wasn't something that Epstein wore, honestly. But, like, that's
Yeah, it's
the
like if
reason
you're
you're
rocking
putting
the
it on your
Charlie
store?
Chaplin mustache, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. It's like, come on, dude. Whatever. I mean,
And for those of you who don't get that, look up Charlie Chaplin's mustache.
in the sense of anyone that you are, like, look up to politically, you never have full faith in them. You have to have your own opinions. There was always things that I disagreed with Nick on. Like, I remember at one point he was talking about how he doesn't like steak and he likes to eat macaroni and cheese and french fries. I'm like, dude, you are such a beta male. Take 5'2", 110 pounds soaking wet. He was telling people, don't go to the gym and eat what you want. And that he doesn't like steak. I'm like, dude, grow up. Like, you're almost 30. Like, you're supposed to be a good role model to people, you know? And he does get a lot of, publicity from rage baiting like that. Like, I hope he's not serious about the Epstein stuff, but why say it at all? You know? Like, why say that at all?
There's been a couple of those clips that, like, you can tell he's just rage baiting, but still what he's saying is crazy. And then you see him on these interviews, like the Piers Morgan interview, like the Tucker interview, Candace interview, and they bring it up. And it just, like, he does his best to defend it. But how many times can you say, like, oh, that, like, I didn't mean that, before you wonder, like, all right, well, you say you didn't mean it, you brought it up, and you continue to do it.
Yeah. Keep
like,
putting
at some
yourselves
point
in the situations, buddy. See what happens.
Yeah.
And then his take on Venezuela is terrible. He's like, this is our country, this is our hemisphere. You know, like, we can do whatever we want. And I'm like, okay, tell that to China and Taiwan. I was talking about this last week. It's like, tell that to China.
Yeah, what did you talk about last week? Can you give me a brief recap? I didn't have the chance to listen to the whole thing. I did start it, but
I don't even know if I wrote down what I was talking about. Dude, I have notes from the 9th episode.
what did for the people in the comments, what did you think about the solo episode?
I was
Do
talking
you think
about.
do you think Luke should kick me off the pod and we should go fully to just him running solos, or what?
I was talking about. I was going off on Dan Bongino a little bit, on Mark Levin.
Typical. Yep.
my typical spiel, people like that, Lindsey Graham. I was talking about the Venezuela thing. This is why I bring it back up, and how that relates to China and Taiwan. Also the Greenland thing. Like, if we want to take Greenland, like, for national security, can China not claim the exact same thing and claim Taiwan, we're making the argument that Greenland was once a part of the United States after World War II. Okay, Taiwan used to be a part of China. And that would benefit
No,
their
you
national
don't.
security.
No, see, Luke, you don't understand. It's okay when the U.S. does it, but it's not okay when anyone else does it.
Right. And I'm not
It's like,
like I explained this on the pod last week. I'm not entirely against the United States taking Greenland. If there's a credible threat of China and Russia, then I think that kind of makes sense from a national security standpoint.
hey, by the way,
But it's a frozen hellscape in the middle of the Arctic. Like,
we did get a comment that said Luke held down the fort, but Tyler, your voice was missed, so you can't kick me off the pod.
nice.
Views are gonna drop.
China and Canada collab. Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like when we
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk more about the China and Canada deal because Trump was obviously bashing it. Mark Carney and I don't know if it was Xi or if it was somebody else in the Chinese delegation, but Mark Carney told reporters from BBC on Friday that the world has changed in recent years, and Congress made and the progress made with China sets Canada up well for the new world order. Doesn't that make
Are there not Are there not
tickly.
provisions in NATO that prevent stuff like this? I could be wrong because I mean, my knowledge on
I
it
don't think so
is
because
minimal, but
from an economic standpoint, I mean the United States has been China's biggest buyer and might even still be China's biggest buyer of consumer goods.
yeah, but you don't think you don't think it could turn into a bigger alliance, like a military alliance?
I do. Yeah, I do. So
China and Canada collab is a crazy way of putting it, by the way.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said this is very good news. Farmer in his province have been hard hit by China's tariffs on Canadian canola oil. And the deal, he said, would bring much needed relief. So, I believe this is a big thing for Chinese EV cars to be sold. EV cars, that's kind of redundant. Chinese EVs to be sold in Canada because the United States isn't going to sell them. The United States has Tesla. Like Canada has Tesla, but Canada hates the United States. So why not bring in Chinese EVs and flood Canada with them?
Listen, 90% of the people that own Teslas hate Tesla.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's Elon, but
yeah. Carney has signaled that the Trump administration that it is warming up to China.
man, I'd be scared to drive a China EV. They're probably all like they're probably sleeper cars, sleeper cells, not in the same like car guy sense of a sleeper, but like the thing's gonna turn on you one day.
I have seen and heard some stuff about Chinese EVs. Like their range in terms of like their affordable cars versus their high-end cars, or like the technology is absolutely insane. Like what we have in America pales in comparison to what they have, and for the price. Like
really,
a new car there you could buy for like $4,000, something crazy like that.
Well, yeah, but you have to consider Teslas are manufactured in the U.S. Manufacturing in China is so much cheaper.
So much cheaper, yeah. But I mean, it kind of makes sense from Canada's standpoint. Like, if the United States is putting tariffs on them, China's putting tariffs on them. If you can get somebody to drop the tariffs, like from an economic standpoint, but like this isn't good for the U.S. Like, wouldn't the U.S. want to be the ones to say, okay, we'll work with you. We want you to buy our vehicles that we make here. We don't want you to go to China and buy them. Why? But we have to play big dog and say, no, we're going to push you in the hands of a foreign nation. Like, this for me, at the beginning of this term, I was like, honestly, we should take Canada. Like, that's not a terrible idea. Like, you could say, oh, well, most of them are liberals and they would be classified as Democrats. It's like, in the scope of being a world power, if you could find a way to economically, like, what would be the resistance to taking Canada? I don't even think you'd have to use the military.
But I think we'd run into the same issue of Trump wanting to take Greenland.
Still.
Like, Canada would clearly push back.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I think from a national security standpoint, it makes sense that, it would make sense if those countries were already a part of the United States, you know. But does it
Yeah,
make
but then
sense
do you
from
have
the
if you have
standpoint of taking them? I don't know.
here's
I
the
don't
thing
think
though,
you
do
can
you have one
justify that.
person controlling all of these places?
No. Canada has how many? I mean, they have their prime minister, but they have how many? Each province has their own premier. So
Right, but so they adapt the U.S. political system is what I'm saying.
no, it's a little bit different. Like they have a
No, if we were to take over Canada, would they adapt the U.S.
oh,
political system?
I mean, it'd have to be like when they said that 51st state, right? Like they'd have to adapt the provinces into states, I would assume, and then they'd be given delegates to the main Congress based on those state populations.
All right, but you wouldn't make the argument that that is like, especially if we took Canada and
I'd
Greenland.
say it would just be a territory, and until you really work things out, wouldn't get voting rights. Which sounds
Okay,
so wrong, you know, but
but that's just I feel like that's a lot of power to give one person,
like the ruler of
president.
can't. Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't really know how that would all work, you know? Like in a situation that this hypothetical situation we're talking about of Russia and China going through the Arctic to try and conquer North America or attack North America, set up bases, whatever. That's entirely doable through both Canada and Greenland. So, like, in an ideal scenario, those would be the territories that you'd want to protect attacks from there and to set up this Golden Dome infrastructure. But, like, in a realistic world, in the real world that we're in, you can't just go and take it, I don't think. It's not,
Hmm.
I don't know, the 1700s anymore, the 1800s anymore. That's not the same world that we were in then. These countries are
Not
actually
taking wooden
established.
sailboats over there.
Yeah, in the days where nations weren't entirely established, and you're just dealing with indigenous people, it's not that hard to take the land. It wasn't actually a country. But in the days where there's an established government and military, it's kind of hard to justify just saying, oh, we're going to take it. They can't do anything about it. That's how wars happen. In terms of colonizing, like the wars aren't really at the scale of like Germany invading France, you know? It's not really the same thing. Like those are wars that
I also think
tens
it's
of millions
different
of people died.
throughout history when you look at colonizing or taking over land. These places were like barely established.
Yeah.
Like today's age, we're talking about, for the most part, fully established nations with militaries, with their own politics, with citizens that have public opinion.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have back in the day, you didn't have like Instagram and Twitter to like sprout your opinions.
Native Americans are on
I mean, like,
Twitter.
I feel like at some point, you could have lived in during like, the 13 original colonies here. You could have been living somewhere on the West Coast and had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a lot easier to take over nations back when. I mean, you could have lived your entire life without knowing what was going on
Mhm.
on the opposite coast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's just a different world that we live in, and to act like we can just continue to be a hegemon and just take things. Realistically, we probably could in the sense that our military is the strongest in the world, but
It'd
in the
be
sense
deadly
that
though.
we don't want to because of the economic impact and cultural impact as well that it would have on the US. Like just what we need, more devaluation of the dollar. Like if anything's going to trigger hyperinflation, it's going to be a big war. I just don't think that that's like a good solution. I think trying to be friendly with everyone because you want more allies, but in a way that you want the allies to be able to contribute as well. Like you don't want to be the main well, one of the main contributors. I don't think that's a terrible thing, but you want to feel
You're
as
the
though
only
there's
when you're
some.
the only contributor. That's when it's a problem, which is kind of where we're at.
I think proportional contribution is the thing because all the countries in Europe
But we're
are
not even seeing
smaller.
that.
No, not at all. So I think that's the argument I would make is trying to have what did I say? Proportional contribution from All the countries, the NATO nations, the non-NATO nations that we're allegedly allies with. It's like, why are we allies with you? You give us nothing. You know, once those checks start rolling in from Israel, then I'll say, oh yeah, maybe you guys are decent allies. But until they pay back the $300+ billion that we've given them so far.
Yeah, speaking of checks from Israel, am I gonna get a reduced payment this week? Because you did a solo episode when we get our Israel check.
What? Yeah, I guess I'll just take the full thing. That's fine.
You'll take the full. Man.
I was watching Tyler Oliveira did a special episode on. Did you see that? Is the town in New York that's entirely Hasidic Jews?
No.
Dude, that was insane. Which is the kind of crazy thing about it is that they all said that they're anti-Israel, whatever. Just like, okay, that's interesting. It's not about them being Jewish at all. But looking at the community, he literally walked up to every one of them and asked, like, what do you do for work? None of the people work. They literally just are in the synagogue all day. It's insane. And each of one of them has like 10 kids. Like the average amount of kids there is 7 for a family.
The American dream, man.
It's like, imagine any other ethnic group having a community where it's only that ethnic group.
Well, isn't that kind of how like Chinatowns are?
Yeah, but that's not like. See, that's my thought process, right? It's not frowned upon when it's a minority. But it's just like I'm sitting here, you know, I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars in taxes every year. I wouldn't even be able to afford to have a kid if I wanted to. And I see people online in these random towns, and they're like, yeah, I can have 10 kids because I'm on welfare.
Get on welfare, man.
Dude, I'm doing something wrong. But
yeah, you're working.
I'm not that type of person. I could never be the person that leeches off the system, you know? I don't want to be that way. It's so, it's grimy.
Yeah, and by the time our day comes where we do start to leech off the system, it's not going to exist anymore. Yeah.
Our Social Security is already estimated to be, I think the conservative estimate is that we're going to get like 75%, but I don't think we're going to get anything. I think they're just saying that to keep people voluntarily paying in. It's like if people all of a sudden...
Well, you don't have an option. You don't even have a choice.
I know that, but if you were able to withhold your Social Security payments with the possibility of the government coming after you, like, if that was a possibility, which I don't think it is, like, people would be doing it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you could do you could do so much better.
Put that money in the stock
with an IRA.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just insane. It's insane. Moving on. Iran claims that 3,117 people have been killed in the protests. They claim that 2,400 of the dead were civilians/security forces. They did not specify what the other 700 people that were killed were. I assume there's a lot of CIA and Mossad getting killed, honestly. I think that's like a speculative claim, of course, but that's what I would say is who they're not saying. Because if they're like, yeah, we killed 500 Mossad agents, don't you think Israel would go bomb them tomorrow? I think so. And Israel might even know that Mossad agents are dying. Or the United States might know that intelligence agents are dying. Like, in an organic uprising, can't you just let it be organic? Like, do we really have to get involved? It's like,
yeah, man.
The polls say that the majority of Americans do not support continuing strikes on Iran. It's like that has absolutely no grasp on Americans whatsoever. So in what universe is this a good thing?
What the Prez wants.
Yeah.
Prez gets.
Well, I mean, he said if you kill any more protesters, you're gonna pay for it. And then there was a talk of public hangings in the streets of Tehran. And the president said, don't do it or you're going to pay for it. And they ended up not doing it. I don't know if that's necessarily because he said that, but like, is the United States bluffing or would they actually do it? Like, what are they going to do? Bomb the streets of Tehran, killing thousands of civilians? I don't know.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Man. It's just, not really any good news. I don't know. Just the same old blackpilling every week of life sucks and, you know. I like all the silver talk and the precious metals talk really makes me hopeful. I think that's the type of world that would honestly be better. Like a world where your money is actually valuable.
Yeah.
Because the money, the amount that we're getting paid for our jobs is never going to increase to match inflation. And it never has.
No. But to think that everyone is going to be able to
it's not feasible.
Invest in gold and silver is crazy, and then like at this point you can't even you can't reverse inflation at this point.
Well,
maybe slow it down.
Yeah, when the United States enacted the gold standard, they seized everyone's gold. Like, you were forced to give up your gold to the government. So, like, I think if they did that again, we still haven't. This is what I wanted to talk about, and I keep forgetting it. When Elon was in charge of Doge, and that whole thing was still kind of going on, there was the talk of doing an audit at Fort Knox to see how much gold that the United States actually had. We haven't got that. I'm so curious to see how much gold is in Fort Knox. I'm gonna guess that it's a lot less than they say it is.
Do you think so?
I think that's.
I read this thing a while ago. I don't know how true it is, but there's something like there's only as much gold in circulation to like fill 2 Olympic swimming pools or something. Is that true?
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know if that's true.
That doesn't seem like very much gold.
Because I watched. That
was also a long time ago, but
I watched a video. Was it yesterday of Idris Elba? He went into the Bank of London, into one of their gold vaults. I forget how many the woman said that they had, but this thing was insane. Maybe we should watch it. I think we should watch it.
Maybe we should start prospecting and panning for gold.
You're gonna get gold fever. Let's just move to Alaska. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. You ever watch was it Gold Rush?
Yeah, I used to love that show.
Oh yeah.
All right. This is the video that I watched. Oh my god, YouTube survey.
Are you sharing?
Okay, Sarah, don't worry, I do.
No, it's not.
You're stuck on.
It's not
on my end at least.
Yeah, I know.
You're stuck on the Rumble screen.
My own.
Well, I think I gotta. There we go.
Stunts.
He's opening the vault. This is the Bank of London, I believe, or the Bank of England in London.
So there you go.
Whoa.
This is insane.
Your first glimpse of
I'm still not seeing it.
You're not seeing it?
No.
Can anybody else in the stream see it? Comment if you can. 'Cause I can see it on my streaming screen.
Well, I can see it on the streaming screen, just not on my end.
What do you think?
That takes your breath away.
Is this real?
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
This is like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Isn't that insane? This is just one. I think.
Dude, what's one of those bars worth?
Of the world's gold is held in professional.
So that's like a 50-pound
just
bar.
Like this.
It's like what, 250 grand?
Okay, Sarah. I mean, how much gold is here?
No, 50-pound bar.
This is one of 9 gold vaults that we have here at the bank. There's about 400,000.
Dude, how well do you think that guy was searched on his way out?
400,000 gold bars in there.
Collectively, they're worth about 250 billion pounds, something like that.
Oh my goodness.
What?
250
it's a
billion
lot, isn't
pounds.
it?
What's that in
So-
US dollars?
I've got to ask the question, like,
That's like
why do we have
320,
this
I
here?
think. 300 or
How,
300.
how did it turn
billion?
into, okay, the bank needs to hold this much gold? What was the process? Like, take me back.
So obviously gold's been used for quite a number of
I just
years.
want
as
I
a-
don't care about this stupid talk, but that's insane. Like, that's unbelievable. And how many vaults like that do they have? Like that the swimming pool thing, like that there might even be enough to fill a swimming pool.
Yeah. Well, they said, what's that, 30% of the world's gold supply?
They said that is?
I think so in the beginning, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Okay, Sarah, I mean, how much gold is here?
That's
This is one
insane.
of 9 gold vaults that we have here
It's
at the
so
bank.
pretty.
There's about 400,000 gold bars stored here.
400,000
And
gold
collectively,
bars.
They're worth about 250 billion pounds, something like that.
What?
I know, it's a lot, isn't it?
So, I've got to ask the question, like, why do we have this here?
Okay, it's kind of like ad-ish. I don't know. It's like a little docu-ad type video, but like we don't see that in the United States. Like, let somebody go in and see like the vault in New York or the vault at Fort Knox. It's like that would be insane. You probably I hope they still have gold. I really do. Imagine if they don't. We're all
Just empty.
We're all cooked. If they really don't have it, you know. I mean, we've gone an hour. Do you want to keep going? Luke,
I mean, do you have any more topics to talk about?
I hope
That's
not.
a crazy
I'm
comment.
only 2%. What's the problem if it is? I like gold. You know, it's shiny. It was promised to me 3 million years ago, 30 million years ago. Yeah. Go back to the gold standard, honestly. That would be sweet. Honestly, like, what if we actually just traded in precious metals? I don't know, that would be cool. Sounds like the Wild West. I feel like there are more topics, and I just, off the top of my head, I can't remember.
No, I think we went through them all. Let me take a look.
Huh. In this, in the Davos interview or speech that Trump gave, he was talking about how Marco Rubio is going to go down as the best Secretary of State in U.S. history, and how it's obvious because both sides voted for him unanimously in his confirmation hearing. And Trump, he said this in the speech. He's like, initially, I thought this was a bad thing, that both sides liked him. But then I realized that he's just a really likable guy, and like he's just a great person. Like, if that's not a sign of being bought and paid for and corrupted, like, what is?
Yeah.
It's just the uniparty. Uniparty is a real thing. It's so obvious. Like, Marco Rubio is gonna go down as the best Secretary of State in U.S. history. Are you kidding me? Little Marco, as Trump used to call him in 2016 when Marco Rubio was also running for president. Trump said that Marco Rubio was going to get bought up by Sheldon Adelson, but it ended up that Trump got bought by Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. And then he's like, yeah, actually, you know, I'd like Marco Rubio now. I want every possible
how that
neocon I
comes
can
full
get
circle.
in my cabinet, in my government. It's like the flip-flopping on everything. It's like, I'm so over it. I used to enjoy watching his speeches, you know, and like watching him dunk on people. Because I was like, maybe he'll actually do something. Like, this is refreshing to hear someone talk like that, you know?
I like the 2016 debates. Those were a peak for me.
I feel like we should watch some clips, because we could like just go on about like the flip-flopping. And I think he was just more lively.
And I want to talk about taxes. The fundamental difference between the two of you concerns the wealthy. Secretary Clinton, you're calling for a tax increase in the...
Oh, hold on. I got to fix this. Come on.
Wealthiest Americans. I'd like you to further defend that. And Mr. Trump, you're calling for tax cuts
like,
for the wealthy. I'd like you to defend
cool.
that. And this next 2-minute answer goes to you, Mr.
I feel like this is when he was
calling for major jobs because the
he was
wealthy
still
are going
pushing
to
his own
create
agenda here,
tremendous
and now
jobs.
he's
They're
pushing
gonna
someone
expand
else's.
their
I think that's the
companies.
difference.
They're going to do a tremendous job. I'm getting rid of the carried interest provision, and if you really look, it's not a tax. It's really not a great thing for the wealthy. It's a great thing for middle class. It's a great thing for companies to expand. And when these people are going to put billions and billions of dollars into companies, and when they're going to bring $2.5 trillion back from overseas, where they can't bring the money back because politicians like Secretary Clinton won't allow them to bring the money back because the taxes are so onerous and the bureaucratic red
I think it's
tape.
so funny that he's got the blue tie on. She's in a full red
Leaving our country.
outfit.
They're, believe it or not, leaving because taxes are too high and because some of them have lots of money outside of our country. And instead of bringing it back and putting the money to work because they can't work out a deal and everybody agrees it should be
this is cool.
Instead of that, they're leaving our country to get their money because they can't bring their money back into our country because of bureaucratic red tape, because they can't get together, because we have a president that can't sit them around a table and get them to approve something. And here's the thing. Republicans and Democrats agree that this should be done. $2.5 trillion. I happen to think it's double that. It's probably $5 trillion that we can't bring into our country, Lester. And with a little leadership, you'd get it in here very quickly, and it could be put to use on the inner cities and lots of other things, and it would be beautiful. But we have no leadership. And honestly, that starts with Secretary Clinton.
Oh, the one where he's at the round table with
You're the only
everyone
person
else.
on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally.
You remember how much he used to
I'm the only one of the stage
dog on Chris Christie?
See? Well, but hold on.
By the way, I've hired tens of thousands of people over my job. You've hired
1,000 people
You've
from
had
another
nothing
company,
but problems
from another
with your
country.
credit cards, etc.
Let me say,
what?
Let me finish the statement.
Now they're best friends.
We hired workers from Poland, and he had to pay $1 million or so in a judgment.
That's wrong.
That's a fact.
Totally wrong.
Well, people
Wrong.
Look it up. I'm sure people are Googling it right now. Look it up.
That used to be so goated.
Wrong. Illegal workers on one of his projects. Yeah, he did.
I think it's like these guys are best friends now, you know?
I've hired tens of thousands of people.
Like Trump used to be tweeting about this guy all the time.
Be quiet. Just be quiet. Let me talk. I've hired tens of thousands of people. He brings up something from 30 years ago. It worked out very well. Everybody was happy. And by the way, the laws were totally different. That was a whole different world.
Thank you.
But I've hired people. Nobody up here has hired
Senator
anybody.
Cruz.
And by the way, Marco is exactly right that a federal court found Donald guilty of being part of a conspiracy to hire people illegally and entered a $1 million judgment.
Ted looks so young there.
I got along with everybody. You get along with nobody. You don't have one Republican. You don't have one Republican senator, and you work with them every day of your life, although you skipped a lot of time. These are minor details. But you don't have one Republican senator backing you, not one. You don't have the endorsement of one Republican senator, and you work with these people.
Senator Cruz.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Here's a man, Robin Hood. This is Robin Hood over here. He talks about corruption on his financial disclosure form. He didn't even put that he's borrowed money from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs, which is a total violation.
See, this is the stuff where it's like where is this now?
People from the big bad banks.
We're going to move on.
Now the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing
the
$200
wall.
billion.
Imagine if that actually happened.
But the wall is $10 to $12
like $5 billion, I think is
you need
why the
1,000
government shut down.
miles. The Great Wall of China, built 2,000 years ago, 2,000 is 13,000 miles. We need 1,000 because we have a lot of natural barriers. We can do it for 10 to 12, and it's a real wall. This is a wall that's a heck of a lot higher than the ceiling you're looking at.
If the Mexicans don't pay for the wall, will you start a trade war with Mexico?
Well, you know, I don't mind trade wars when we're losing $58 billion a year. You want to know the truth. We're losing so much. We're losing so much.
Dude, he's a completely different person.
I know.
With China, we're losing $500 billion a year. And then people say, oh, don't we want to trade? I don't mind trading, but I don't want to lose five.
I think the craziest part is that people still see him as this same person.
He reminds me of Muhammad Ali's brain decline. Oh, come on. Oh.
No. It's just like, you could see how it's, I don't know if they got to him, like he's not energetic, he's not lively.
No, like I said, he was pushing his own agenda here, now he's pushing someone else's.
$500 billion.
This is good stuff.
If he builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it. The second...
So cute. Such a cute soundbite.
But no, it's not a soundbite. It's a fact.
Yeah,
Again, go online and Google it. Donald Trump, Polish workers. You'll see it. The second thing about the trade war, I don't understand, because your ties and the clothes you make is made in Mexico and in China. So you're going to be starting a trade war against your own ties and your own suits. All right.
You know what?
Why don't
Because
you make them in America?
their currencies.
No,
They devalue their currencies.
Well, then make them in
That
America.
makes it well, you don't know anything about business. You lose
Well,
on
make them in
everything you do.
America.
You don't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know
businessman.
anything about bankrupting four companies.
No,
You
I
bankrupted
know.
four
You know what?
companies.
You know what?
I don't know anything about
You know what?
starting a university.
One at a
That was a
time.
fake university.
Dude, listen to the crowd.
A fake university.
That's called.
There are people who borrow $36,000
One at
to
a
go
time,
to
Mr.
Trump
Trump.
University, and they're suing him now. $36,000
And
to
by
go
the
to a
way,
university.
and by the way,
That's a fake school.
And by the way,
And you know what they got? They got to take a
I've won
picture with a
most of the
cardboard
lawsuit.
cutout of Donald Trump.
And by the way,
That's what they
I've
got
won
for the
most of the
$36,000.
I want to move
And
on.
they actually did a very good job. But I've won most of the lawsuit.
Senator, I want to
Most
bring in
of the lawsuit.
I want to bring in my colleague Maria
Excuse
Celeste.
me, hey, Wolf, let me ask you. Am I allowed to respond to this
You're
guy?
allowed. You've been
Okay,
responding.
well, no, I haven't. I really haven't.
He's talking to you.
He's
Here's
like,
the
he's
guy.
quick, he's
Here's a guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have.
Dude, the irony.
$200 million.
I know, it's
if
like-
he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald
No,
Trump would be right now? Selling watches in
I
Manhattan.
wrong. I took.
That's where he
That
would
is
be.
so wrong.
A small loan of $1 million.
I took $1 million and I turned it into
$1
$10
million.
billion. I borrowed $1
Then
million.
release the tax return so he can see how
I
much money he
borrowed
makes.
$1 million. I
He
turned it
doesn't
into
make that much
10 billion, more than 10
As soon
billion.
as I step foot into the Oval Office.
I have to say,
Senator
he lied
Cruz.
this time. He lied. 100%. 100%.
Senator
You
Cruz.
lied about the Polish
Oh,
workers.
yeah.
You lied to the
38
students of Trump
years ago.
University.
Let
38
Senator
years
Cruz
ago.
Oh,
jump
he
in,
lied
please.
38 years ago. All right, I guess there's a statute of limitation on lies.
First of all, I don't believe anything Telemundo says.
You used to
Number
say
one.
that you love.
Number one.
The Second Amendment
When
from
you
the Bill of
say
Rights.
crazy zealot, are you talking about you, crazy zealot? Give me a break.
What you're saying is getting rid of the
Give me
barriers
a
between
break.
states, that is going to solve the problem.
That's going to solve a lot of the problem. And the insurance companies are going to say that. They want to keep it. They want to say, they say whatever they have to say to keep it the way it is. I know the insurance companies. They're friends of mine. The top guys, they're friends of mine. I shouldn't tell you guys. You'll say it's terrible. I have a conflict of interest. They're friends of mine. There's some right in the audience.
Oh, that's what I
One
wanted
of them
to
was
talk
just
about.
waving to
Which
me.
did you hear? Trump released something saying that we're creating this is going to be like the best healthcare plan ever. We're sticking it to the insurance companies.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, we got to pull that up. I was enjoying those, so I have to go watch another blackpilling clip. I just find the clip of him saying it.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly
It's only
make
like 5
healthcare
minutes.
affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests
His posture's
first,
gotten so much
our
worse.
plan finally puts you first and puts
head's
more
slowly
money
falling
in your
into the
pocket.
suit.
The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you
and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things. They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it. And for the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down. And under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed by 300, 400, and even 500% starting this month at the TrumpRx.gov.
I hope that actually happens.
So instead
I
of
hope it's
Americans
Yeah, there we go again though
paying
with the
highest
greater
drug
than
prices in the
100%.
world,
Yeah, that's like they're gonna be paying me to take the drugs now. That'd be nice. Yeah, I hope that, like, obviously those numbers make no sense, but in the sense of the Trump RX thing, I hope that actually does reduce the price of prescriptions. We'll see what actually happens, but I think we were talking about this during the government shutdown. The healthcare was the main reason the government was shut down, and it was the fact that the government couldn't agree on whether or not to extend the federal subsidies to insurance companies that were enacted during COVID. I think this is a good thing to try, seeing if paying Americans directly, paying the subsidies to them directly, will drop premiums. Now, I don't know, because he's basically telling the drug companies that he's going to be giving the people more money. So why wouldn't they just keep the premiums exactly the same? Like
Or raise them.
Or raise them. Like, okay, you're going to give money to the people, we'll just raise them. Like, people still got to buy insurance. And you can't, the government can't just go to the insurance company and say, oh, well, you're not dropping your premiums, like, we're going to put you out of business. Like, what kind of a communist state is that? So it's like this in between of a socialized system and a private system that doesn't really work that well. But I'm curious to see what it actually does.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which we have for decades. We will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. So any other nation that's paying the lowest cost, that's what we're going to pay. And the American people will get the savings. So I have to reiterate, the lowest price in the world is what you're going to pay. Before, you were paying the highest price in the world by far, and the politicians did nothing about it. So I'm asking Congress to complete the work that we've started. Next, my plan would reduce your insurance premiums by stopping government payoffs to big insurance companies and sending that money directly to the people. Obamacare was designed to make insurance companies rich.
So I don't know if you want to watch any more of that, but he's saying that it's not enacted yet. He's proposing this plan to Congress. He's going to try and get his Republicans to pass it through. Maybe get some Democrats to agree. I don't really know. So this is just like a plan. I mean, that would be a good something to try. I think it shows some promise. I don't really know if I have that much faith in the idea, but something to try. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else. Do you wanna end it here?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Oh man. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I think it'll probably just be me next week. You're not gonna be here, right?
Yeah, but I should be good after that.
All right, we'll throw on another solo episode next week. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you around.
Thanks, everyone.